thing I will do now is queue up the next session, though. So we're about to be joined by Danny Reinfeld from Style3D, who is delivering a session on selling digitally from the mill to the consumer. Now, we've already heard about why digital product creation, material digitization is so important in the supply chain at source. We've already seen a demonstration from Browseware about what it looks like when those assets make their way all the way downstream, when that value chain stretches out. And we've heard from Gap about the importance from the brand's perspective of being able to do that, of having that confidence in digital capabilities and that confidence in digital tools. I think Danny's now going to walk us through a little deeper, and he's going to talk about why, beyond geometry and patterns, the digitization of that whole value chain, being able to sell digitally across the board, why that's starting to move the needle for the entire industry. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Danny.
Thank you, Ben. Pleasure to see you again, and I want to thank our hosts from Alvanon for the invitation, giving us the opportunity to meet here. I have participated in the past in these events as a spectator, and it is a real honor to be a speaker. So thank you. I'm having a little trouble seeing myself. I have 3 screens set up, so that's the wrong one. Okay. So let me just swap out the displays here. And I lost my mouse.
Hi, Danny. Popping in to give it a little.
It's going to be share. My apologies. Can you see the right screen over there, Ben? I can't see.
We can see your very, very wide PowerPoint screen.
Do you see the notes as well, or just the?
Yes, we have the full view. So if you can reshare real quick to a different window, that would be great.
How was it now? It was working fine a second ago.
It looks the same, unfortunately, on our back end.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Apologies.
Danny, if you make sure you share the presenter view, if you open it up.
Yeah, that's what I would. Yeah, I think it's just you have to swap screens.
There you go.
Okay now?
That looks great. Go ahead and go to your cover slide and we'll get rolling. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
Take it away, Danny.
Thank you, and thank you to Mr. Murphy for showing up just for me. So the topic is selling digitally from the mill to the consumer. As Ben was saying, things have been moving very quickly since the COVID outbreak, and I've been in the 3D business now for about 10 years, working with some of the largest companies, and what used to be a vision and what used to be a discussion has now become a reality. And that vision started really in the West, and the companies such as the Gap and others started from the product development side, creating the products and viewing prototypes. But very rapidly, there was a wall hit, and there was a limitation in terms of the scalability, and that was the lack of the digital raw materials, if you will, the fabrics, the trims, blocks, etc., that weren't available, and the ecosystem partners, the manufacturers, as well as the mills, hadn't started digitizing yet. But now today we see that a lot of that has happened, and I'm going to show you some examples as we go forward. And over the years, we have seen the discussion move from how do I reduce costs, how do I become more sustainable, to those subjects, plus how do I use these digital assets to sell more, improve the business, and sell better and smarter. And that's where Style3D comes in. And that's why, and that's really our reason for existing. I imagine that many of you aren't so familiar with us. We might be a new name for you. We've been around since 2015. We have over 400 employees and work with some of the largest companies in the world, primarily in Asia. Our solution spans over 3 different areas. And we'll start from the mill side with creation there. We have one of the most extensive and powerful fabric creation systems for scanning and digitizing fabrics and editing them, everything from hardware to the software to 3D creation platform. In Asia, we see more and more companies looking for alternatives and to the large companies that we're all familiar with. And we are one of them. And I'll show you some of what we're doing over there. But we have the complete suite of tools to create 3D content and animate it quickly, easily, accurately, and of course, making it beautiful. And then with those assets that are created, we have our Style3D platform, which is cloud-based and has both collaboration tools so that you can share with your internal customers or your external customers, as well as create showrooms, trend books, and manage digital assets. The more digital assets that are being created, the more challenges it's going to present in terms of managing them, and that's where we excel. So as I mentioned, we work with some of the largest companies in the world, largest e-tailers as well as retailers, and probably some of the names here that you recognize. I'm going to start back from and as I said, we started originally from working with the digital raw material companies, with the fabric mills and trim companies, so that they can create and have a platform to distribute what it is that they're creating. And our solution goes straight from the scanning of the fabrics, the physical properties, so that you can see how they drape, create catalogs, 3D assets, and of course, methods to make it more realistic and sell. And we have digitized literally hundreds of fabric mills throughout the world. And here is an example of how how fabric mills are using 3D technology to coexist with the physical world. And there were some comments, very interesting ones made in the previous presentation about how does physical and digital coexist. And here's an example. This is from the Intertextile Fabric Show in Shanghai last year. And what you see here is that people are just using their smartphones. They start off by touching the fabric, right? So they get that tactile feel. Do they like the hand of the fabric or not? And then they're able to go and scan a barcode that was created from our system, and that will bring them into the digital world. And they'll be able to drape the fabric on some pre-existing styles, such as a dress or shirt or etc. And they're able to see it drape in its actual fabric and see, do I like this or do I not like this? If I don't like the way this fabric looks, I'm not going to request a sample. So with that, we're able to reduce the amount of fabrics and samples. And their tools are being used for, let the music finish there. So with those same tools, you're able to create showrooms, digital showrooms, so you don't have to be there, right? You don't have to be at a trade show in order to see something. You could be sitting in the comfort of your office or in your home, and you can try those digital samples on your platform, regardless of whether you're using Clo, Browseware, Style3D, or others. The fabrics, our fabric system supports all of their fabric standards and formats. So you're able, as a mill, to create for any type of platform out there. And the results that we see that our customers have shared with us have been impactful, to say the least. Reductions in physical samples. And of course, all of this ties back to sustainability. and will support the efforts of legislation that's looks like it's going to be passed in the U.S. as well as Europe. Workforces are more efficient because now they're creating samples, creating fabrics that people want to buy, or there's a high chance of them wanting to buy because they've already seen them in the digital and have weeded out that initial batch of the ones that they know won't work for them. And this gives them a competitive advantage as well, because using these digital catalogs and the fabrics that can drape, you're now able to send them around the world digitally. You don't need to be online. You don't need to be in front of the person to do that. And the feedback that we're getting is really tremendous. And our customers who managed to digitize just at the beginning or even a little earlier than COVID all survived, and they were able to communicate and they were able to collaborate with their customers. So the mills are selling to designers, the ODM companies, manufacturers, and of course the brands. And that is, and what I just presented is how they're selling today. And on the flip side, obviously, is how many of these companies are now buying. Right? You touch that one physical sample, and then you order multiple swatches in the color, one fabric. We're working with some of the largest companies around the world for manufacturers and design groups. And of course, they use our fabric tool, they use our 3D creation platform, and they use as well our digital, our 3D cloud platform. Now, Leverstyle is a really, really great example of somebody who's forward-thinking in terms of technology. They work with a variety of customers in all different types of product ranges. So it could be fast fashion, it could be leisure wear, or even higher end luxury type items. And they call themselves the apparel engine for digital retail, and I just love that. And so they have a recurring issue in scaling, right? How do you use multiple 3D formats, right? Because one customer might work with one platform, yet another one works with a different one, and the third works with a third supplier. How do you manage all of these assets so that you can use them to progress your business and to sell more? So Leverstyle, and I'll let them do the talking.
Style is a company with a 66-year history. We start from a manufacturer, and currently we are basically a kind of a vertical supply chain solution provider. In any industry, the back end and front end is very important. Our future direction is to integrate back end with our supplier. So this kind of 3D product is not just only created by us. So whatever you produce your 3D product, you need a place to do the exchange. Actually, it stands for Style3D. As long as you can go to the platform, you can easily view, you can easily collaborate. That's the solution.
So that's why we are not using tools. We're not buying the tools to generate some very traditional stuff. We are kind of need a platform to review the whole process, whole kind of business value chain to this industry. Before we met on Style3D, we already start our digitalized transformation phase. Like we engage the PRM, and then we find out the value chain of this kind of knowledge library being digitalized is only assets internally. So we also would like to get some cooperation with our customers. 3D is one of the good ways. In general, digital is our company's 3-year strategy, and 3D is one of the really big part of the value assets. So we are more invest on the 3D investment.
Style3D provides us with a great platform to host and display a wide variety of our online resources. We are offering 3D sampling as part of our services to our clients for a very long time now. we recently developed a brand new athleisure showroom with fully fledged collection.
The 3D technology is changing this process completely. So there is a possibility you start the selling and buying even before making, even before the product is ready. So I think that is the fundamental change. I think it takes time, but the integration of the solution.
All right, thank you for that. So the platform that they were talking about is our cloud-based platform, or digital asset management, as well as collaboration platforms that host all of your digital assets, regardless of the format. We can have fabrics, avatars, accessories, other hard goods, you name it. We currently supply a library that you can use for these digital assets and digital props. We have over close to 50,000 assets that we provide to our customers, and that's everything from styles, digital blocks that you can download with the pattern, etc. And then in a private area, you can manage your own digital assets, which is what Lever Style does. So they'll have their own, they'll have like private areas for each one of their customers that they can go and share styles specifically for them, fabrics, etc. And once you have these assets in a digital management system, you can really create some fantastic things. So like, for example, you can create trend books and catalogs and have them connected to your 3D. Let's try that again. And have them connected to the assets and see them all online, sharing with whoever needs to be shared with. And then once you have these, if you look at these in terms of replacing, or at least replacing a good portion of salesman samples, right, with digital tools where you can get into the specifics of a garment and you can collaborate on it in real time. I think I would like this better if that stripe were narrower. Then you can go in and change that stripe on the fly. And then, of course, you can use it for selling. And the system, the platform comes with a variety of animations. We have over 600 avatars available. And you can see some samples over here of the animations. It's very easy to use, and the results are phenomenal. I guess we say stage left of my screen, we see the woman walking back and forth. That's augmented reality. The office there is real. The avatar comes from our collection along with the garment, and it's all animated. So the idea here is you'll be able to create sellable assets. So if you're a fabric mill, you'll drape your fabric on in a garment that makes it look great. You'll be able to animate it so that your garment comes alive and it creates emotion. And the same for the designers and the same for the manufacturers. And I do see a world where the designers and the manufacturers are bringing on additional services of creating this kind of content for the brands so that they'll have it and they can distribute it on social media, in the metaverse, etc. And the expectation will be that this type of content will be provided. So,
Danny, thank you. Sorry to jump in. I'm aware we're running a little bit short on time for this session. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Perfect timing. Okay. Your final slide.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give everybody a gift before I go. Please take out your cameras and scan this QR code, and you'll be able to take this dress home with you and change it and alter it, change the color, patterns, etc., and have some fun with it. So
perfect. Thank you, Danny. And I think for me, one of the most persuasive things that came across there was you mentioned the length of time that you've been in the 3D industry, and I said in my intro it's at least 7 years since I did a sort of a deep dive report on the 3D. I think it's fair to say that from a technology and presentation point of view, like you just demonstrated there with the augmented reality stuff, 3D's come a long way towards believability, right? Because we've talked a bunch of times here about the different junctures at which you as a brand, or you as a producer, you have to make product decisions. You have to make choices based on a 3D asset. It's arguably a lot easier than it's ever been to make those choices because of how good the output of a decent 3D modeling and decent 3D simulation environment can actually look, right?
I agree. And
Perfect.
I think it's just the way that people are going to work.